I love you.
Hey, all you couch potatoes out there, hop on board the raft with us, because today we're heading down the river.
We're going for a ride.
We turned our couch into a boat, and we're taking it down some rivers today, through some jungles, along with some interesting characters. Because today is a Patreon episode, everybody. It's a special episode. I'm bringing it back. It's a special episode.
It's the potato pick, everyone. And it's important. It's so important.
Everybody cheers. Wow,
yeah. This is Green and Faceless on the couch. Welcome, couch potatoes. Our patrons out there, once a month, they suggest and then vote upon an episode to, have us watch and review. Here we are. Thank you, patrons.
Yeah, and we expanded it to for this patron episode because our patrons Don and Mike submitted 2 movies, The African Queen and Jungle Cruise. That's 1951's African Queen and 2021's Jungle Cruise. A solid 70 years difference between these two.
Yes.
Initially, when we had done the Patreon pick, we had just thought about just doing it threesomes. And they submitted 2 films, and we talked about it, and we're opening it up, everybody. You don't have to submit 3 films. You can just submit 2. You can submit. Do we open it up for deep dives too? You can submit a deep dive.
So you can submit between 1 and 3 films. This is what we're looking for. This is our new criteria, our rules out there for any couch potatoes interested in jumping on board. You can suggest as a higher as a higher tiered patron, you could suggest a deep dive, which is 1 film, a sequel smash, 2 films, obviously, that are sequel of each other.
Exactly. They don't have to be 1 and 2. They could be 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 7.
They could. You could do what we're doing here, which is a genre smackdown. This is a very specific river adventure subgenre. So that's easy. That's easy to remember. I think those are the only 2 ones with 2 films. Then, like we said, a threesome, which is 3 movies with like a theme.
Our lovely threesomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And preferably, as you said, preferably they have a theme. They don't have to. You can just submit 3 random films that you just pull from a hat. But, preferably it has a theme. It makes it more interesting for us. Yeah,
like he said, maybe think of it less as 3 films that you're pulling out of a hat, but maybe it's your significant other, your person's 3 favorite movies, and you can even say that in the comments, and we'll put a shout out for them if they're a listener.
We will not ask them to marry you, though.
No, I don't want to. No,
we're not those kind of people. We will give shout outs, but we won't be like, hey, Kevin wants Diane to marry him. Diane, what do you say? Text Kevin at 812-555-5555.
And then please let us know. And let us know how it goes.
Yeah, she says
but,
no.
I suppose, if you do join our highest tier on Patreon and you want us to make wedding announcements or do shit like that, I guess,
sure.
We could sell our soul for money. That's fine.
Yeah, you're paying us high bucks. I'm all right with that. I'll shill out. And if any corporate shill out there wants us to shill out their shit too, by all means, go ahead and pay us.
The third thing you can do. The third thing is a trilogy triumvirate, which that's pretty self-explanatory too. So
yeah. Preferably that one is in order 1, 2, 3, or 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. And if this is your first time on the show, on Mondays we do a playlist episode. So we've done things like Bond movies, Disney, the OG Disney movies, stuff like that. We're working on the Fast and Furious stuff right now. So if you make a suggestion, we might say, hey, we were going to do a playlist of that. Is it okay if we wait for that? And, that means we're going to watch the movies that you want to watch. So please just try to be cool with that.
But peace and love, just like Ringo Starr said. Just in the comments there, spread some peace and love.
For sure.
Be nice.
Yeah. And MS Paint images.
And MS Paint images, for sure. Yeah, baby.
I am the Faceless Leon.
All right, I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
All right.
We're pros.
So, let's talk about The African Queen.
The African Queen, indeed. Based on a 1935 novel by C.S. Forrester, which I have not read.
Me
I know,
neither.
right? I didn't even, for whatever reason, I thought it was just a movie, but nope, looking into it, what do you know? Directed by John Huston, written by James Agee, John Huston, John Collier, and Peter Viertel. Always great when you see 4 writers involved in something.
Yeah.
And that said, it actually is pretty good.
It's great. Yeah, I love this movie, actually.
It's really good. But it's always, whenever you see 4 writers or more than 3, you're just kind of a little worried because that means it got passed around to a lot of different people.
Maybe in this era of Hollywood, that's a good thing. Maybe that was a good thing. Maybe there was only 5 people in Hollywood, including John Collier and Peter Viertel. I don't know these people. And they were the only ones who really knew how to write a good movie. And people would come up with the ideas, and they're like, okay, we gotta fix this. And, that's how it happened.
Maybe. I kind of imagine somebody wrote a script, and then John Huston saw the script, and he was just like, yeah, I'm going to rewrite this real quick. And he rewrote it. And then he looked at it and he's like, maybe I'm not the greatest writer. So he passed it off to somebody else. They wrote it, passed it back to John Huston. He reread the script and he was like, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay the coffee boy $5 just to edit this over one last time. And he does that, and then he's just like, yeah, we're good. Fuck it.
We're good.
Right, we're all
good. Fuck yeah. Get Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah.
And it'll be good.
And to say the least, they are basically... I mean, there's more characters than them, but they are...
It's them.
Yeah, it's them. It's just them. And up front, there's no relation, but I am an Audrey Hepburn kind of individual. Right. I love Katharine Hepburn. She was a great actor, but I don't know. I am super crushing on Audrey Hepburn all the time.
Yeah. Just
love her. And again, no relation between the two, but imagine this with Audrey Hepburn. Oh, it would have been fabulous.
So I think Katharine Hepburn is great. I really do.
Yeah, she really is.
But she really is always Katharine Hepburn. But with varying degrees of warmness, because which I think honestly makes her a good actor too. To compare the two. A secret review of Audrey Hepburn. She really, had a range of characters that she could play. And,
mostly ladies.
Well, yes.
Mostly very rich, I am high class.
I thought you just
lady.
meant the gender.
No.
I don't think I ever saw her playing a man.
I just meant the higher class, right. Well-to-do, always fashionable.
Because she looks so good in glam. That's how. Yeah. That's all it is.
I imagine it would be very hard to actually imagine her in The African Queen.
I honestly think, she could do it. She was really talented.
Oh, easily, yeah.
But Katharine Hepburn, I think, equally as talented, even though she's always being Katharine Hepburn. There's just two different styles. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's true.
And she's great as Rose Sayer. Her and her brother, I guess primarily her brother, Reverend Samuel Sayer, have a mission. And I don't remember the name of the village or what country in Africa they are in, but they are missionaries, and they're trying to do the Lord's work. And then the Germans come in. So this is during World War I, which is basically the world exploded, everybody. I feel like in our education, we talk primarily about World War II when we talk history classes, but really none of that would have happened if World War I didn't happen. And there's a lot of really important things that happen worldwide. Anyhow, the Germans and all other different countries were just grabbing up shit in Africa. This was happening before the war. And at this point, the Germans come in, they burn down the village that they're trying to have a mission with. And this drives Samuel Sayer, Robert Morley, insane, and eventually he dies. They know this local's not the right word because he goes all over the river, but Charlie Allnut, who is the captain of the African Queen, a steamboat, he comes upon them and to offer them both a ride out of there because things are turning bad. And Rose is the only one who accompanies him because, as I said, Sam died. And it is their survival together is the story. They do confront the Germans at some point. That's the plot.
Yeah. It's your classic, romance tale where the two soulmates, the star-crossed lovers, are very different people at the very beginning. Humphrey Bogart, who is fucking phenomenal in this film.
Oh yeah, I love Charlie.
He, I think he won the Oscar for this. I think it's his only Oscar, Humphrey Bogart's, but he's just brilliant in this character. And Charlie Allnut, he is like a dirty. Kind of, he's on the river all the time. He doesn't do anything but boat. He loves it, and he's a little crass. He's not very religious. He is a drinker. He is heavy with gin. Whereas Katharine Hepburn, what's her name again? It's Sayer,
Rose.
But Rose. Rose is, she's very religious, very not uptight, but you know what I mean. Very classy gal.
She's reserved.
Exactly, and being on the river. Even though she is very adventurous, at first it is a different world for her. She has to learn a lot to be comfortable on the river. But boy, once she gets on those rapids, she's having the time of her fucking life.
Oh yeah. In fact, Charlie's trying to scare her on the rapids because she wants to go and do an incredibly dangerous thing. And he's like, I think we should stay out of the line of fire, being civilians and all.
Yeah.
But
I think it's fair to say what she wants to do, because that is like a major plot point. She wants to blow up a big German ship.
Yes, it's called the Louisa. No,
it's a ship.
No, that's
it's
the
a
other.
Yeah.
That's the other movie.
That's Jungle Cruise.
Yes. But the Louisa, I'll say, is captained by Peter Bull. That's not the character's name, but Peter Bull does a great job. I love some of the lines that he has as the captain.
Yeah.
But that's much later in the movie. Yeah, like I was saying, Charlie was trying to scare Rose out of the idea of using the African Queen to blow up the Louisa. Yeah. And they get on the rapids. He's trying to make it seem as dangerous as possible. And she at first she's almost shaking. And he said, and she says, wow, that seemed like it took some effort. And he said, yes, it sure did. And then she said, do you suppose the next time I could try?
I love it. Her gusto is so phenomenal.
Yeah. I love it too. She is just ready for the adventure at that point. Rose just opens up. She balloons, if you will.
She balloons. Her sails fill with wind.
Yes.
And
her engine full of steam.
Yeah. Being a 70-year-old movie, it is, the biggest concern is always going in is is it dated? Does it feel dated? Does it live up? Is it worth watching? Because it's a 70-year-old movie. There's very few effects. A lot of the filming in today's times would be considered, very subpar. But this one definitely still lives up.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's nothing subpar about it, I feel like, because it's very adventurous, very fun. It's very just their acting, just Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn together, their chemistry as it grows brings you in more. It's a very good romance.
Does. It does kind of have, I will say, this is one critique I have of the movie. I would say that I have maybe two, really, because I considered this one of my favorites because it's something I really enjoyed watching as a kid. But one critique I have is how it's like a switch when all of a sudden they decide that they're together. That part that kind of agitates me just a little bit. Because up to that point, they've been kind of adversarial. And then it just kind of just switches. There are some really cute things that happen.
The power of sex, man.
Yeah, I don't think Rose, is ready for that.
It's Humphrey Bogart. Yeah. He's a charmer. He's a charmer.
Okay, fair. The other critique I have of this movie is the use of the African characters. They're only at the beginning of the movie, and it's, it's a story told in their continent on a river going through several countries. And it's just, but it's just the time. I hate to give that excuse to a movie. The parts that have African characters in them, the African characters at the very least are not, I don't feel like they're villainized at any time. He does talk about a tribe, or is there a scene with the tribe?
I feel like at the end, the Germans have soldiers who are African, don't they?
They do, yes, but I think that's just being historically accurate. They did recruit a lot. Yeah,
that's fair. But in regards to the film, like they don't show. It's like at the beginning they're the villagers, and at the end they're the villains. So it's just like not much effort in there, but product of the times. As much as we hate that excuse, that is the excuse. The only excuse really to be had for this film. Right. That aside, there really aren't many complaints I have, because it's like I agree with both those complaints though, because that shift is weird. As I said, it is dated. It does have dated elements. For the first 30 minutes, I wasn't really on board. I've actually never seen this before. This is the first time I got to see it. I never watched it as a kid. Or if I did, I didn't remember it. And so I feel like I watched it after a very long day at work. It was like a Friday. I was tired. And, I finished everything. I was very exhausted. I laid on the couch, turned on the TV, watched this movie. And for 30 minutes, I was pretty bored. I wasn't, I wasn't engaged. And then there's that flip where they just become together. I mean, that's not 30 minutes in. It's a little further. Right. But once they become a couple, a thing, I was hooked. I was on board.
I agree that once the romance began, their chemistry is just it's not that it was bad before, it's just much more engaging. They're a very good couple, really. They are. And it's partially the mix match thing, and it's great. By the way, I don't think we mentioned that Rose is British and Charlie is Canadian, and that's one of the ways that she convinces him to go along with the mission that she proposes, is because at the time, really, still they're part of the Commonwealth technically, but Canada was a colony or whatever that they were at the time of the First World War. I'm trying to be a historian and I'm just not. But that's but she instills a sense of nationalism, and she even uses that term. And I feel like nowadays, at the very least, a lot of people don't want to use that term because of the Second World War incidences. But, this was many years ago when we were still very much pumping our own propaganda out to people in our own country. And it's also set much before that, in a time before the silver screen. So,
right. Yeah, interesting stuff.
Well, I guess, should we do closing statements?
Yeah, I think so. There's not much to say about this one. It's really good. It's a classic for a reason. Definitely go out and see it if you haven't watched it before. And I mean, if you've already seen it, there's a reason you're rewatching it a lot. It's a good film. It's a good romance. Yeah. I do still prefer Audrey Hepburn romances over Katharine Hepburn. Sure. But the action in this is a lot of fun, especially for 1951. I was more surprised about how much I enjoyed it. It was a nice, I kind of thought I was going to go in and enjoy it, but I didn't think I would enjoy it this much. And I still give it 3 stars. It's really, really good.
Really good. Really good. I do have a lot of fondness for this movie. I'm just going to give it a face, though. I think it's pretty close to a face and a half. But I don't know. I just can understand that a modern audience might not get as much kick out of it as, say, I do as an individual. But I do have a very personal connection to it, as I said, because I watched it a lot as a kid. And I even watched it, our version, our VHS, was in black and white.
Ooh.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the version that we watched was remastered. Because I think there was some scenes that were damaged in the original reels, and what they used for selling VHSs and early DVDs was the version that was made for television. And so it had to be black and white because televisions were black and white. That is what I think. I don't remember reading that. I don't have any empirical evidence.
I believe it 100%, and I will tell other people that like it was trivia I learned on television.
Yes. But I do know that shit like that happened.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, why was my VHS in black and white? So that's just me reverse engineering. That's what it is. I am now a historian and an engineer.
Got them honorary degrees.
Yep. From
the U
the
of
school
I.
of my left shoe.
Nice. I was going to say the University of Imagination.
Imagination. Ah, shit. Well,
let's move on to Disney.
Let's
chill out to Disney because on Disney Plus you can check out Jungle Cruise. Do we have to pay the premiere fee? I think we did, right?
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, $30 fucking dollars. But I paid for worse with $30. So,
but you can also go to the theaters to see this.
You can,
but everybody, I hope that you are aware that it is kind of scary right now. It's kind of ramping back up again. And
got them
variants. They don't give a shit about the vaccine, man.
Well, I mean, they do in a way. They don't hurt as bad.
Yes. The symptoms are not as bad if you have the vaccine. So please go get vaccinated.
Yeah, just be careful, people.
And be careful. Yes, like I have returned to a part-time job. It was a job that I had before because I do feel a little bit better having been vaccinated, and of course, in the society we live in, I need income. But it is on a campus. However, they are requiring people to be vaccinated to go to school there. So we'll see how that works.
All best to them because, where I work, we require the masks, and so many people still come in and want to argue with us about it. It's like, people, we're just doing what we're told. It's your job. If you go somewhere and if you're anti-mask, just to say this up front right now, if you're anti-mask, I mean, fine, that's your opinion. I disagree with you, but that's your opinion. Don't give shit to the employees who are enforcing the mask mandates and everything. They're doing their jobs. That's their job. They don't want to lose it. They have to.
Yeah.
Don't yell at them. Just put the mask on and shut up. You can bitch about it in your car to your wife or your husband or your partner. Go give them an earful of your complaints. The employees just want to fucking get paid.
Yeah, just like you do, I'm sure. Just
exactly.
Like you do.
But with that, we've returned to the theaters, but we don't know how much more we're going to return to the theaters. I'm contemplating still going. But I didn't go to the theaters for Jungle Cruise. I paid the $30 fee and sat on my couch.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm happy I did that. I'm really happy I did that because this is a very fun one to just relax to. It's which is weird because it's a very crazy action not sci-fi, but action-packed film.
Yeah,
adventure. Thank you, because this is Disney's next attempt at turning a theme park thrill ride into a big budget movie franchise.
Oh, please don't make it a franchise.
I
know they left it kind of opened at the end. With his really funny top hat, but it's
100% gonna be. You can guarantee it.
I hope not.
They're making like a 6th or a 7th Pirates of the Caribbean film still. I know that those films dried up after 3. They did a trilogy, pretty good. They continued on, and everybody's like, probably stop. And they're just like, we're going further. There's still more money to be had out of this fucker.
That's all they want
That's all they want, and they're gonna bleed Jungle Cruise as dry as they possibly fucking can.
Hey, listen, Disney, we paid $30 to see this movie. So, yeah.
And they're not giving that money to the creators.
Yeah, probably not. We watched it, and you wanted us to watch it, and we gave you the money to watch it. But as somebody who watched it, let me tell you, you did a decent job here. But don't make me pay $30 to watch it again.
Yeah.
Please. This was fine the way it is. This is all this needed to be.
Yeah, I don't need to see Jungle Cruise 2 or whatever, you know.
How would they call it Jungle Cruise 2? I mean, I guess they could go to a jungle, but
yeah, they can always go to other jungles. There's other jungles they could also do. Instead of like Jungle Cruise, it could be like Jungle Voyage, where we're on land now. They can mix it up.
Jungle Voyage.
But to say the least, like, as much as I love Dwayne Johnson, he is not the franchise leader as like Johnny Depp was. Like, Johnny Depp has so much. I mean, they have equal amounts of charisma, I would say. There's a lot to both Jack Sparrow and to whatever Dwayne Johnson's character's name is in this.
Frank.
It was just Frank.
Frank Wolf.
Oh my god. Something so simple, I forget Frank. Anyways. Yeah, like, Frank, though, I mean, even that name alone. Jack Sparrow, Frank Wolf. They're very obviously... like, come on, guys. They're really not putting much into this.
I saw something earlier today where they're like, they based his character off of Indiana Jones. But now I know that it's just
Jack Sparrow.
1920s Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, they literally took everything with Pirates of the Caribbean and did that with Jungle Cruise. There is a supernatural twist. There is, it's a grand adventure. You're on the water. It's exciting, and you got a very charismatic lead and supporting character in Emily Blunt. I mean, she's a lead too, but she is like the Orlando Bloom of this franchise.
Yeah, she is the protagonist of this movie, but yes, he is the
he's the dashing idiot.
Yeah, he's the dashing idiot. Is that what you're gonna say?
Dashing hero, but dashing idiot also works.
Yes. Though Frank, I think, has a better head on his shoulders than Sparrow does.
I think Jack is incredibly far more intelligent.
He's intelligent,
yeah.
Yes, but he is he is
definitely a little on the
diagnosable. Okay,
yeah, there you go. He is on the little bit of the verging crazy side. But I mean,
secret review. Well, you guys already seen that review.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked about Ronvald. We need to get Ronvald back on here.
We need to, yeah.
But with Frank, as much as I love Dwayne Johnson again, he doesn't carry a franchise just as well as Jack Sparrow, I believe. Jack Sparrow, I was returning solely for that.
Right.
The one thing on Frank Wolf that I'm returning for is his dad puns. Because that dude drops about 100 of them throughout this film. And I have used so many of them that I was like in love. I was like, yes, this character's
you had
me.
used them before the movie?
Yeah, I've used a lot of those. Like, whenever he was dropping them, I'm like, oh, dude, I've totally used that in so many situations. There were some new ones for me. I don't want to say that I've used all of these, of course. I'm not that good at puns.
McGregor, Lily's brother, Lily being Emily Blunt, and McGregor being Jack Whitehall. He loved him. He was like the only one who loved his jokes.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a really fun character trait for that character.
Yeah.
I think I might now mention that there was a bit of controversy around this, the McGregor character, because yes, so they came out, they announced that that McGregor was going to be gay and have a coming out scene. And the controversy came out before the movie that Jack Whitehall, being straight, is now just going to play this camp gay man. And it's like, if you're going to do it, why not hire a gay person to do it?
I understand too. I've been having a bit of a minor, I've been thinking about that issue recently too, because, I can't remember who it was, but I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about that issue of, you always have people complain about an actor who isn't what they're playing.
Yeah.
And the podcast was saying the definition of an actor is one who acts.
Yeah.
It's acting like somebody else. That's the whole purpose of it. And so, like, I don't know. I've been a little more lenient on that issue because, you know, you have so many British actors who play American actors, so many American actors playing British actors, Australian actors playing other people. Jesse Plemons, he's in Jungle Cruise. He plays a Nazi.
He does not play a Nazi. He does not play a Nazi. This is before. This is right after World War One. He is.
Oh, so this is in the same period.
Yes, it is almost could be considered a sequel to The African Queen. Besides all the magical stuff
and lack of characters
and lack of the same characters. Yes, but. He is, I think he's either a prince or he has some direct relation to Kaiser Wilhelm.
Okay, but he was at least...
He's German.
In my opinion, after 3 weeks, I equated him to a Nazi, so I'm fucking close and I don't care. He is an American actor playing a German, though, was my point. You know, it's like I'm a little more lenient on the issue because that is the actor's job. They are there to act. I agree that we should be more inclusive of all these people who are not being represented in certain roles. But I don't know if I'm going to attack the actor and I'm not going to attack the casting director.
I'm definitely not going to attack Jack Whitehall.
As a casting director, I don't know if you would ask those questions when you're hiring somebody.
No,
I don't know if I would specifically ask an actor if they're gay or not. Like, I would just be like, you fit the role that I'm looking for. You gave precisely what I wanted. I'm hiring you.
I would agree.
I want to be inclusive, but like when it comes to that controversy, I think Jack Whitehall did a great job. I liked the character, and I was happy to have a gay character represented on screen.
Right.
I do wish
I
they
have
were,
to say more explicit about it. Yeah, because I don't remember that so-called coming out scene. That's the part that I kind of find a little frustrating. Is that they boasted having a gay character and then it didn't happen.
I do remember him mentioning something with I remember him in The Rock having a scene. I don't remember much about it because again it's been like 3 weeks since I've watched this, but I do remember a scene where they mentioned it. I was like, oh no, yeah, I kind of figured.
Did he kind of just? But did he say?
I think it was just like a shoehorn line.
Was it kind of like coded, like I'm different, you know, kind of thing? Because that's another thing that people are like, okay, if you're going to say it, just say it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is Disney also. Like, I'm not going to defend Disney. They are terrified of going anywhere near homosexuality. They won't do it. They're dipping their toes in the water. So, like, I'll coax them. You know, I don't want to defend them. I don't want to defend not being inclusive in who we're casting. But I just don't know who you would blame here because it's like the casting director did their job. The actor did his job. Yeah,
I definitely would not have asked the actor when casting. Like, I would mention that the character is gay in the cast call, but I would not. Yeah, I don't think I would ask because that seems invasive.
Yeah. So I guess if what I'm trying to get across is we should be pointing the blame on the producers, on Disney itself. They're the ones who are afraid to go there.
Right.
You know, they're the ones who are afraid to make sure that actors, like homosexual actors, are cast in those roles. Like, that's, I would say, their call. So I'm assuming that is where the controversy is aimed, and I am just making pointless arguments.
I think you're 100% correct, because Jack Whitehall as McGregor, I really enjoyed. I thought he could have had a bigger part, thoe.
Yeah.
He definitely was just a side role character.
Yeah, he is like, so when I was watching this film, I didn't watch it after African Queen. I watched African Queen after I watched Jungle Cruise. But like, I knew it definitely felt like a kind of like a spiritual successor. Like, it was very similar in what I had read of the plot line of African Queen. It very much followed similar beats.
It still is. Yeah. I mean, even after watching it, it still is. It just with magic.
Exactly. But it's also derivative, again, of Pirates of the Caribbean and The Mummy.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, a little bit.
And
Indiana Jones, you know.
Well, yeah, there's a little bit of Indiana Jones, and I do see where they were trying, but like I didn't feel much of that spirit in this.
No, because he's The Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
He's built like The Rock.
Exactly. He's I don't know. He is great still. I did love his character, but the only thing I really loved about his character were the fucking puns. But like the Mummy, though, it has that trilogy of heroes who are basically precisely the exact same personalities.
Yeah.
You know, The Rock is a Brendan Fraser. I don't remember the leading actor or the leading female actor in The Mummy. I can't remember her name. Rachel.
Yeah.
I think the character's name was Rachel.
Nah, yeah, you might be right. They might both be Rachel.
And the actor,
Rachel Weisz.
The actor, Rachel Weisz. Thank you. That is the actor. Yeah, Rachel Weisz was the actor, and that is Emily Blunt in this. And then Jack Whitehall as the brother is the eccentric brother in the Mummy franchise.
Right. So is he Emily Swan, Elizabeth Swan? That is. And the other one, is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, yeah. If in Pirates of the Caribbean, he would also be, the Elizabeth Swan
because
character.
Earlier you said that Lily Houghton is Will Turner.
Yeah. I mean, that's true, though.
It really is.
But, like, it's similar to Pirates of the Caribbean and how it's trying to be a franchise, and it's similar to The Mummy and how they chose the characters they chose.
Right.
Like, all the character decisions were basically the exact same as The Mummy.
Very similar timeline in that movie, too.
God, I miss Brendan Fraser.
I do, too, but he's kind of coming back, man. He's got a movie coming out.
I need to watch Doom Patrol. Like, I think I would love that.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's involved in that, too. I forgot about that, but
he's the robot character. There's
this movie coming out. I can't remember what it was, but I just read an article about it. And it sounded really good.
It's time for his renaissance.
It is. And if you haven't heard about Brendan Fraser's story, I don't think we should maybe go into it, but it's kind of sad what happened. But he's coming back, so if you've missed him, look out for him. So there was one other thing I want to talk about controversy-wise about this movie. And I don't want to talk strictly about that. I don't know if we want to do a spoiler wall. We're kind of running in on time, maybe, for that, but I do want to talk about Trader Sam. So Veronica Falcone, I thought this character, I have nothing wrong with this character in this movie or Veronica Falcone because I thought they did a great job. But she was I believe she was the chief. I don't know if that was ever explicitly said. Oh yes, because she was in that one particular scene when Frank introduces Lily to the tribe. She's sitting in the chieftain's spot.
Right.
But anyhow, Trader Sam is a character from the ride who has been criticized for decades for being a horrible representation of the indigenous people. So they changed the ride. They already changed the ride and replaced it, I believe, with like a mischievous monkey character kind of thing. Well, I see when I heard that too, that's kind of what I felt. But I guess like they just changed like the whole scene. It's not like I don't think it's like an animatronic thing. I think it's
gotcha. I've never been to a Disney theme park.
All right.
So like I've never ridden on any of these big rides or seen any. I don't even watch videos of this because again, I mean, sorry, Disney, still pay us. I mean, I love the Disney, but I don't know. The Disney theme parks they just don't excite me. Like I'm not really like terribly interested in going.
Right.
I would if we got a big group together who wanted to go. But
yeah, I've had a good time every time. Oh yeah, hey, if you want to head to patreon.com/screenfaceless, send us to Disneyland.
Send us to Disneyland. That's what we use the money for. We don't actually use the money for that. We use it for equipment, for paying our fees
for the show. So thanks, potatoes out there for making the show happen.
But back to your point.
Which, who knows what that was?
You were talking about Trader Sam.
As it kind of turns out, you knew what it was. So Trader Sam, I think that if they were going to reboot the character, that Veronica Falcone did a great job. But I didn't know it was a reboot of a character until I read about it. So I don't know. I just feel like they could have just let that die, which maybe that would have been the better move.
Maybe because again, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't look anything into this film. I didn't see what critics were talking about it. I didn't even watch a trailer before watching this. Like the only thing I've seen outside of this film was an Emily Blunt interview because I love Emily Blunt. Like she's a great actor.
Pretty great.
Oh man, A Quiet Place still rocks me. It's so fucking good. But like,
completely different character.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known anything about that. I honestly, when you mentioned the character, I had kind of forgotten those scenes because there's a lot of this movie that's I think it's over 2 hours. Like it's a beefy thing.
A lot that goes on. Like they like, even though it's over 2 hours, and I think it's because they wait until the second half of the movie to kind of exposition dump it onto you, all this stuff that's going on in the background, which that's another critique of the movie, I guess. Anywho, man, I'm having trouble with keeping my train of thought today, but should we do closing statements? I feel like we're kind of getting there.
With Jungle Cruise, it's directed by Jean-Claude Serra. It's written by Glenn Ficarra and John Requa, who did Cats and Dogs and Bad News Bears. Those are the only two films I recognized by them. Cats and Dogs is a hilarious film I watched all the time on VHS as a kid.
We did too, yeah.
It's like live action Cats and Dogs voiced by famous people. I don't remember any of the actors in it, but it was so funny.
They're like spies.
Yeah, it's also written by Michael Green, who was a co-writer for Logan and Blade Runner 2049. So, like, they got their comedic elements, and then they got their blockbuster, like, action guy in to
make it feel like a roller coaster.
Yeah, they polished it as well as they could, and it's good. I enjoyed it. I really like Dwayne Johnson. He does a good job. I don't think he carries it as well as Johnny Depp again, but he still does a great job. Emily Blunt, beautiful as always. She was fabulous. I love Jack Whitehall. I thought he was fun. Jesse Plemons was pretty hilarious too. I've always loved him ever since Breaking Bad, so I'm happy that he's getting bigger and better everywhere. He's just so good of an actor. But overall, I don't, like, as we said at the beginning, I don't want them to make a franchise out of this. I know they're going to. They'll milk it as dry as they possibly fucking can.
Just listen to us. This is better how it is.
They'll get at least 3 sequels, I think.
Just give it 2. If you're going to do it, give it 2. I mean, I don't know, like, what they're going to do. I mean, to talk about what I think they could do to make it work, we'd have to put up a wall. I don't think we're going to do that today. I do think it's worth to watch this movie. Oh, you're not finished. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I would just finish with, I still give it a 3 stars, though. Like, same as African Queen. Nice. I still enjoyed it. I had fun. The puns made it, it was actually a 2.5 film, but there were so many puns I had to give it 3 stars. It's made for me. That's the kind of stupid shit humor I got. Everybody's gonna go out and they're gonna watch American the Motion Picture and be like, "That's a good movie," and they're gonna watch Jungle Cruise and be like, "That's fucking stupid." I'm the opposite. I need this kind of humor. I need the dumb dad puns. That's me.
I enjoyed the dumb dad puns too, especially like the groaning, like, because that's how it is. That's what you want when you tell a pun. You want to hear the groaning, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I can't turn it off."
I used to do it every single day. I don't anymore, but I used to go into work every single day and deliver a pun to everybody I worked with. I have cut it back. It's about maybe once a week, but I still love to hear the groans. There's a lot of those, and it's fucking phenomenal.
So I did enjoy this movie. I'll give it a face. Why not? There's some fun magical elements that I think, honestly, with the 2 hours that they had, they could have done better with incorporating it earlier in the movie. Because the first part of the movie, they take a while to bring up the magical elements, I feel like.
Right. And then when they do, the CGI is not the greatest.
No, not really. At least it didn't seem as so on the small screen. Maybe on the big screen it's better. I don't know. But I don't recommend going out to the theater to go see it, because you can pay $30, which is probably about as much or more that you would pay to go take your family to watch it. It's a good family movie. Please enjoy it.
I mean, or hell, you can also just, what is it, like 3 months that they just dropped the premiere fee and put it on the... Yeah. You can wait 3 months for this. I don't think it's like a huge necessity that you watch it in the summer. I think it could be an enjoyable autumn film too.
Right. I agree. I had something else to say.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not you. I definitely lost it before you said it. I'm having a hard time. I So just a sneak peek into my personal life. There was a full moon the last few nights, and well, it just sits my polymers on end, and I start growing hair everywhere, and teeth just come out of my scalp and shit like that. It's terrible, and I just can't sleep. So yeah, I just have been having the hardest time with just keeping this sentence going. But other than that, it's been a good time.
Damn, those government experiments.
Yeah. So who won? Who do you think won? I would say close one.
It's close, but I think it's fairly easy for me, and I just realized that my microphone's been so far away from me this whole episode, so that's going to be interesting.
Well, we'll see how that works.
But it's still, I really enjoyed both films, but the classic is best here. It's got to be African Queen for me, because Jungle Cruise, I had fun. It was a good action movie, but it's derivative as fuck.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like it takes from everything, and it's very, very unoriginal. And I mean, even the puns they use, I found all those puns on like 10 different websites.
Yeah, somebody did some research on puns.
Yeah, they just bought a whole like 1,000 page book and just like flipped to some pages and put some in there.
Yeah,
and it's still funny. It still made me laugh. But African Queen, yeah, I wouldn't say they did it first, but they were one of the first, and what they did was phenomenal. It's great. It's enjoyable. It's still easily watchable 70 years later.
I 100% agree. If you want to turn on a wholesome movie, which is hard to find in our modern, but it's whatever your scale of morality is too. But if you are hypersensitive about what your kids watch, you can turn on African Queen and not have a problem. Well, okay, They might kill a couple people. I can't remember. But it's a good movie, pretty safe. It's pretty fucking safe, okay? Fuck you. It's African Queen.
There are leeches.
There are leeches. That is the most terrifying part.
Gross.
Well, is that our show? Or should we try to fill 5 more minutes? I think we could do it.
Nope. Not doing it.
Not doing it. We're done.
Because I'm just gonna edit those 5 minutes out anyways. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
We'll sit here in silence, and I'll just like highlight the whole thing and just have 5 minutes of dead air.
Well, I've been the faceless Leo.
Couldn't do it. And I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know why you do, but I appreciate that you do.
Yes, thank you so much. Safe travels. Thank you, Patreon patrons. We love you.
Yes.
Good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the FictionWorks 19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.